Welcome to the first video of Module 6. So the Module 6 topics are shown here, and in this video I'll be discussing about securing the storage infrastructure. So let me tell you, Module 6 is all about security of our storage devices, okay, the storage infrastructure. So we'll be discussing the security terminology, security framework, risk triad, which is very important, and the security domains in this video. So the first question, explain storage security. So the storage is for valuable information like intellectual property. That means the copyrights, patents, trademarks, etc. Then personal identities, financial transactions that are processed and stored in storage arrays. Okay, and they are available or accessed through the network. Okay, so security of the storage is the process of applying information security principles and practices within the domain of storage networking technologies. So storage security is applying storage principles on our networking technologies for storage. You can see the diagram. Security covers networking, storage, and information. The security of these three. Okay. Next, let's see the information security framework, which was a KTU question, and it is a systematic way of defining security requirements. Okay, and the framework should incorporate the attacks, security attacks, which means those actions that compromise the security of any kind of information, and also the measures to control it, security measures. Okay, the four security goals here are confidentiality, integrity, availability, in short CIA, and accountability. So you all are very familiar with this. So confidentiality means providing the required secrecy of information and ensuring only authorized users to have access to that data. So just go through it. We have learned about all this. Just go through it. Then integrity ensures that the data is unaltered. Okay. Then availability, it ensures that authorized users have the data available whenever they need it. Okay. Accountability refers to the accounting for all events and operations at the data center. That means it maintains the log of events and audits and so on. Okay, so those are the security goals for the framework. Next is risk triad. It's an important KTU question. You can see the diagram of risk triad. You have risks in the center and the three. Okay, that is threat, assets, and vulnerability. Okay, and the main figure is telling you a threat agent. Okay, that is an attacker may give rise to a threat and at the vulnerability wherever, and that leads to a risk. The owner will impose a countermeasure to reduce the risk, okay, to any asset. And we have, so the explanation as what risk is. So risk arises when a threat agent uses existing vulnerability to compromise the security services of the asset. So the threat uses the vulnerability to compromise the asset. So you have these three points coming in, the triads coming in, and that is all risk is about. Okay, that's why it's called risk triad. And just go through it. Then risk assessment is the first step to determine the extent of potential threats and the risks in an IT infrastructure. So there must be risk assessment in your organization. Okay, then mainly assets. Okay, so information is the most important asset, and it also includes hardware, software, infrastructure components, and so on. Then security considerations must provide easy access to the assets for authorized users. Okay, these are the security considerations in the case of assets. Then the cost of securing the assets should be only a fraction of the total value of the assets, then it should be difficult for potential hackers or attackers to access and compromise the assets. Okay, and hitting on the assets should cost heavily to a potential attacker. Okay, then next is about threats. So threats are potential attacks that are carried out on the IT infrastructure. Okay, and they may be active or passive. We have come across all these many times in our courses. So passive attack, it is to gain unauthorized access. Some examples. Okay, then active means it is mainly about modifying our data. Okay, then vulnerabilities, that is the paths that provide access to information, are the vulnerable points to potential attacks. Okay, then implementing security controls at each access point of every access path is called defense in depth. That is, you are considering every nook and corner situation where there could be an attack. Okay, so that is why we call it defense in depth. Okay, and it is a layered approach, in fact, because there are multiple measures for security at different levels, and defense is given in depth. Okay, then what are the factors to consider when assessing the extent to which an environment is vulnerable? So there are three main factors. That is the attack surface. That means the various entry points an attacker can use to launch an attack. Okay, then attack when vectors. Okay, that is the supplementing ones. It is a step or a series of steps necessary to complete an attack. An example is given. Okay, that is for example the snooping attack. Now first of all, in your application there may be a bug. Okay, and that would be exploited by the attacker to execute a snooping attack. Okay, whereby the attacker can modify the configuration of the storage device. Through that, they will move on to modify the storage device's configuration, and like that, another host can have surveillance over the confidential data and get traffic from our system. Okay, so this redirected traffic can be used to snoop data in transit. So that is an example for attack vector. Okay, a series of steps to complete an attack. Then work factor refers to the amount of time and effort required to exploit attack vector. So that is the time you spend. Okay, then managing vulnerabilities, it should minimize the attack surface. Our key point is to minimize the attack surface and maximize the time for the attack. Okay, that should be our goal. Minimize the attack and maximize the work factor. Next is explain security controls. So you can see the three aspects of infrastructure. Okay, for where you must implement your control measures are people, process, and technology. Okay, and the controls can be technical or non-technical. Okay, technical like antivirus, firewalls, and non-technical like administrative policies and physical controls. Now controls can be broadly preventive, corrective, and detective. Okay, so preventive, to prevent an attack. Corrective, so once the attack is discovered and you make a corrective control to reduce the effect. Then detective, like the IDS, that is intrusion detection system, which detects whether an attack is in progress or would be triggered and so on. Okay, now the important K2 question coming up again is the various storage security domains. Okay, so which are the domains the security network is open to? Okay, the storage network is open to three domains, that is application access, management access, and backup, replication, and archive. Okay, so storage devices connected to a network raises the risk level, and more are exposed to security threats via networks. Okay, so the diagram is given. Now application access. So it involves the application access to the stored data through the storage network. So we are discussing how all or what are the Security domains, where all security can be imposed when we are considering our storage network. So you can give an access level security, the application management and backup. Okay, so application access involves the application access to the store data. Management would be uh, from the management point. Okay, then backup and replication is along with the access points in this domain. The backup media should be secure. Okay, so all these are areas where you can provide security. Next, explain the various security threats in storage security domains and controls which are applied to reduce the risk. So we are just going into the detail of the previous question. Okay, so how the common threats and available controls are given at each domain. Okay, so the first one was application access domain. So in short, you have the common threats there, that is spoofing the user or host identity, that is saying that is I am another person. Okay, like that, spoofing. Then elevation of privileges, then tampering with data in flight and at rest. Okay, all these are threats in the application access domain. And available controls would be strong user and host authentication and authorization, for example, to avoid the spoofing. Then access control to the storage object should be provided. Okay, examples are given, so just go through it. Then securing management access. Okay, in that case the common threats are spoofing administrators identity. Okay, elevating administrators privileges than the normal. Okay, network spoofing and denial of service. Then what are the available controls there? Authentication, authorization, management, access control. Then private management network can be given. Okay, so just go through it. Next, the available controls and the common threats at the backup domain. So it is spoofing, like disaster recovery, site identity. So organization must ensure that disaster recovery (DR) site maintains the same level of security for the backed up data. That is, there must be a site for disaster recovery. Okay, so a threat would be to spoof it. Okay, the identity of the disaster recovery site. Now tampering with the data in flight, at rest, network spoofing, DOS attacks are all threats in the backup area. Then available controls are again access control, encryption, okay, of the replication network and so on. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you.